Throughout the semester, you've worked with both the technical and creative aspects of photography. With this final project, you'll be creating your own body of work, including your voice and your imagery. Professional photographers typically do series to create a body of work. Eugene Smith created one series titled The Country Doctor. This was a documentary-style project for Life magazine. This is back in the day where doctors could even smoke in the examination room. What he was trying to capture was the demise of the family doctor, the traveling doctor that was becoming more and more obsolete as time went on. He spent months on this project, capturing thousands of images until he got the series that he was most happy with. For this project, you're allowed to take this in any direction you want. I'll go through a series of different images to show you the different possibilities that you have for this project. What I would really like you to do for this project is follow your passion. If you're passionate about food, then photograph food. Michael Ray is a famous food photographer. Notice the different directions of light he's using to emphasize the different textures and shapes of his subjects. He looks at each individual item as a still life. The crackers above, adding a little backlighting, showing the rim around the cracker, and also emphasizing the texture. He used the same basic technique on this cheesecake, showing the rim around the raspberries. I once photographed an entire cookbook in the time frame of about a month, and I gained about 15 pounds. I don't recommend doing this. However, I do recommend getting to know your subject as much as possible. The more you know about the subject, the better your images will become. When you're working on this project, think about all the different techniques you use throughout the semester. For this photograph, Michael Ray used a slow shutter speed to blur the motion of these flames moving around the steak. Frans Lanting, one of the top wildlife photographers in the world, did an entire book titled Eye to Eye. He focused on all sorts of different wildlife for this project. He used a variety of photographic techniques for this project. He used both wide-angle and zoom lenses and captured a variety of different subjects, from mammals to reptiles, even underwater subjects. What stayed consistent with this project is the focus was always on the eyes of the animal. Another project that Frans focused on was polar bears. Polar bears are being threatened by global warming, and he wanted to bring public awareness to this fact. Unlike Frans Lanting, who uses natural light almost exclusively, Greg Crewdson uses studio setups and models. He creates his entire scene. Greg positions the light source exactly where he wants it, emphasizing the different shapes, textures, and forms of his subject. He also places models in the exact location where he wants them. His images often take on somewhat of a movie quality, like a still taken out of a movie, and have a very theatrical feel to them. He uses dramatic light and pays very close attention to detail. Because he's in a studio situation, he has ultimate control over the light, his subject, and model. Uta Barth, a contemporary photographer like Gregory Crewdson, uses a completely different technique. She makes what I would call something out of nothing. She takes very minimal subjects, concentrates on the composition, and very simple designs to create her imagery. Her images are often of very ordinary objects. Many of her images are what we would call blurry or out of focus. Just because an image is blurry doesn't mean it's not a successful image. When the image is blurry, it takes on an abstract feel. A lack of detail is often a strengthening aspect of an image. It allows more for the imagination. Annie Leibovitz is a famous fashion and portrait photographer. She often focuses in on celebrities. This particular portrait is of Iggy Pop, a famous musician. Notice the type of lighting she used. The side lighting highlights all the wrinkles in his skin and shows the age and wear and tear of the life of a musician on the road. For this fashion image, she used a much softer light source. Notice the symmetry in this photograph. Symmetry creates balance. Think about all the different techniques you learned throughout the semester and apply them to this final project. Remember to think about your composition and perspective. If you want the subject to look powerful, like Annie Leibovitz did in this particular image, you use a low angle. It also helps to use a vertical format looking up. Remember, this project is about following your passion. If you're passionate about architecture, take a look at some of the images by Ezra Stoller. Think about the different types of light and times of day you can photograph architecture. Think about the different angles. Are you photographing it head on, from the side, from below, or from above? Push yourself to try new creative techniques, and your images will follow. One of the greatest things about photography is you can share something you're passionate about with the world. You can bring about social awareness. You can entice someone to try something new. You can make a commentary on something that's happening within the world. This is a series of images about the Great Depression by two different photographers, Walker Evans and Dorothea Lange. What is it that you're going to tell the world? What is it that you're going to do with this project that gives me an insight into something that I might not have thought about? This is about you creating your own body of work and having your own voice come through in your images. I'm happy to help you out in any way, so please send your ideas by text or email, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.